Hey, what's up, VR? Welcome back to Day 4, Hour 4 of the Nebulous live development series. In the last video, I wound up spending the entire time messing around with this scan wave color changing system, which is almost correct now. So if I do an example scan here, this will be a red scan, and then this will be like a yellow scan, and then a blue scan, or orange yellow. Oh, I ran out of money. Okay, so like these scans, okay, so that's basically supposed to work. Man, that exponential frequency. I'm sorry, I'm just playing around with this for 2 seconds. I'm trying to get this one scan to beat the other scan. That is so weird. It has like no shot of catching it. It's a little strange. That is really, really interesting. So it's let me give it another shot here. I'm going to bump up the econ even further. Alright, and if the ring is big enough, wide enough, and it's at 1. Okay, so my goal is to try and beat the outer scan. Is it possible? That is so weird. It's like, it's almost like it's pushing it. Did that just happen? Okay, so I think what happened is this. It's going slow, but then I am actually making it go faster. And I think I can understand why that's happening, because the scan forms update is using active scanning radius. So I need to do this differently. The iterator changes based off of frequency. Alright, so I'm going to have to say float scan radius, float scan frequency, and then when this is generated, scan radius equals whatever the player data's active scan radius is, and the scan frequency is whatever the player data dot active scanning frequency is. And then we wind up replacing player data active scanning frequency. This one gets replaced with so it's just this one, scan frequency. And then active scanning radius is in fact scan radius. And that will allow different waves to keep their values. And this isn't going to change at runtime for the time being anyway. Okay, so now let's try and make that work. Okay, so now the higher frequency ring should overtake the original one. So scan of 1, and if I run a scan of 2 here, that's more like it. And you can keep on throwing them out, and that's basically the point. I'm gonna fix that one. But so yeah, you could run like a 180 red, then an 83 of this color, I'm trying to make it like look cool for recording. So if I were to go like this, I'd basically, okay, I'd have to do something like that for making it look cute. The other thing I could do is bump the radius. Okay, so there's one issue I had, which is that this is initializing to 8, which is messing things up because there's only 6 ranges. And 1 to 7 is 7 numbers, which creates 6 ranges. So I'm going to have to... So I think it's in the... I keep messing this up. I think it's in the planet... On the planet prefab, it has a... Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, so okay, it's on this, isn't it? Okay, so change this to 7. I do believe if I change this to 7, it's going to initialize in-game as... Okay, so now it's going to properly initialize as 7. So now if we do a maximum scan here, out frequency 1, we can go from red to, oh, and that went to violet. So is this stay, that's like more purple. Blue, indigo, and then it eventually climbs up to actual violet, which is, it's even more in the magenta range if anything. And if it's maxed all the way properly, it should be reaching a case 8. Wait, so does that mean I'm messing this up then? I'm going to actually run debugger just to make sure here. Because if it's 7 ceilings to 8, oh no, 7 is, it's itself, it is itself, right? Smallest integer greater to or equal to it. Okay, so what I'm doing then is, so 1 is 1, 1 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 3 plus 4, 7 plus. So it's hitting violet at 7. But it needs to go from so at 7 it's violet. I'm not sure what I'm messing up here. I'm also considering for this part doing some, like, making the wave look cooler somehow. It's definitely something I'm considering. So let me double check this here. So we've got, okay, so red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and then approaching violet. And here it's basically violet. And raw 7 is going to be trunked into the 7 range. Right? So it includes itself. Greater or equal to F. So it can be 7. So effectively, by yanking that range, I weirdly denied this range. Is that really what happened here? It should be. Alright, so basically I'm going to have to scale up from, I'm basically going to have to do this, like right here, to fix this. But I've got to fix it again because 7 is this, but it's running at this being 0 because the ceiling and the player is active are 0, so it's literally just going to straight, I guess it's just going to straight violet. If I take a look, 101 is violet, yep. So I'm going to have to add a new case, and I'm going to do a subtraction on the green value, and we're going to have to scale green from 0 to 1, which was just going like this. And so that means that case 8 is what? I might be messing up something. So case 1 only happens at 1 because anything over 1 triggers case 2. So it's like 1, and then 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. And this is supposed to be 7 to 8. So 7 to 8 should yield white. So one extra should yield white, so this should work, as long as I am doing my math correctly. And I'm assuming it's going from 0 to 1 on 0 to 1 here, and it says it is just the it does say 0 to 1. But I was doing that backwards originally, so I'm trying to make sure that it's correct, because the ceiling will be 8. The data, though, could be, I'm pretty sure it's got to be backwards in this instance, because the difference is actually inverse here. So the ceiling would be 8, and if the value is 7.5, then you're at 0.5. But if it's 7.25, the difference is actually 0.75. We don't want it to be 0.75, we want it to be 2.5, so we're going to reverse it like this. And maybe this is messed up, but it might be messed up here. Let me see how this works. Alright, let's take a look. This will afford the player multiple frequency ranges. Oops, I added one, so let's... I'm going to have to go back and change these to 8. And change the UI builder to 8 as well. And the idea is we're adding the white range. And it'd be interesting to eventually add the... We could also add eventually ultraviolet, gamma, and X-ray. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, so red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet if I didn't screw it up, so violet, and violet approaching white. And even though it's approaching white, it might be cool to actually, at 8, does it break? No, it goes to white. Because that includes itself, so 8. Would effectively make that 1, okay. Alright, so that gets a range of 7 different frequencies. 7 different technically 7 different frequency tiers now. I guess technically it's, I guess we can argue it's 8 frequency tiers with 7 ranges, but that is effectively how that's supposed to work. And it fixed it to where they aren't jacking up each other either, so. Alright. So it might be okay for a video, maybe. Maybe. It would be extra special if the higher frequencies actually exposed things. But perhaps it makes sense anyway to do something like this. Maybe the player will understand that they're waves. Not sure. Okay, so we're going to I mean, that actually is technically correct. I'm not sure. I feel like it's missing something. Just a little bit of something. However, functionally speaking, it's basically correct. The main thing would be making it would be cool to make the wave, like, actually fly through space like a wave, going up and down, using the shader. And then also possibly making the wave slightly transparent, which would be a little bit easier. I'm going to give that a shot here, because I think I can go like this. new scan color dot A, and I can set it to like 0.5. So let's see what a half alpha scan mode looks like. Give it a second to recompile here. And let me double check my, okay, just making sure it's still running here, all this stuff, okay, good. So then we are gonna see if this makes the scan wave look more realistic through some transparency. So let's take a look here. I don't really notice. I don't really notice any transparency there. Well, I guess I'm messing that up. Oh, you know what? I messed it up. I know why. Oh, wait, hold on. I am setting it as a color. Yeah, the color just doesn't... It doesn't work like that, does it? If I'm using the shader graph, it's actually going to be... So what happens if I just change the alpha to 0.5 in this? It might be more realistic if it's like, if it looks like it's fuzzy flying through space. Or if it looks like it's, you know, particulate to some degree, so. I mean, it just looks like it's, it just looks like a wave. Yeah, I've always had trouble getting the alpha value to work in the shader graph for whatever reason. Like the base color doesn't have one. The emission does have one. I don't know. I'm not sure why this, I can never get this to work. So the other thing I'm imagining is the emission is, for some reason, bleeding into the like alpha space. That is my best guess, which is kind of how it's supposed to act, but not exactly how I want it to act in this instance. Whoops, I forgot to save apparently. Oh no, I did save that time. And let's see here. So I'm going to try just maxing it out here. In this instance, is it transparent at all? It takes a second for the shader to kick in. It doesn't work like that, but if I'm thinking if I shift the color to be the base color and remove the emissive element, it's still going to emit. Okay, so let's just see what happens if I go like this. Out of curiosity sake, if this doesn't work, I'm going to move on. I'm going to have to figure out how to change the alpha, which is something that I have notoriously messed up before. If this doesn't work, it'll at least serve prototypically as a scanning arc. Alright, so anything here, and not really. Alright, so not sure what I'm messing up exactly there, but I'm going to leave it be for now. I think that it's setting the color properly otherwise. So the only other thing I could imagine is maybe see if there's what other set values there are here. Alright. Oh well. Alright, so otherwise I've got this working. And outside of some cosmetic stuff with making it like look cooler, quote unquote, it is actually working. So a next piece of the puzzle is in fact going to be, excuse me, it's going to be increasing the diversity of things that are spawned so that the scanning system can be given a more, and I'm actually going to increase the base arc to like 25, which actually, hold on, let me go back to that. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at 25 for now, but the idea will be that the planet starts with a low radius, and the player has to invest in radial capacity, which is also something I can do here. Easier than a... That might be easier than doing a whole system for spawning stuff with random contiguity, which is going to require a little bit of reworking a spawn system. Alright, so let's do that then. We are going to more or less add a readout for for planet capacities, basically. It's with the main UI, and it's up down. And then after that, there's the economy window, the active scanning elements, okay, so I'm going to add a visual element here because I'm going to have to nest the active scanning elements and let's see here, flex, can I flex it to max or what? Left to right, and this is actually just breaking everything, unfortunately. Economy tally needs to be up here, and then I have to have a separate element that's going left to right. I mean, it's just how it is designed here. But I've got to fix this to grow properly. Oh, did I pick this to grow? No, it says 0. Or what if I say 1? So that's too much. If I say 0, it scrunches. And the visual element is set to 1. Daggum. So grow grows it the whole way. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for that either. Can I flex the percent high? Nope. That's too bad that it's messing this up, but what if I say line to center? And that's not correct either. Alright, so I'm just gonna have to Yeah, I don't know why it's... I don't know why it all works like this, to be honest. But now I have another element in front of the active scanning elements. And this element is it says it's left aligned here. So I do want to center this one. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it is breaking it. The main thing that's breaking it is just this button. Okay, so that's better. And it tweaked the scanner here. Oh, now that I saved it, it like refixed itself or whatever. Looks like. Yes, I don't understand why this is working like this. But I could maybe drop the width, or no, it's still going to be tough because of the growth. Guess so. So yeah, I don't understand this exactly. I guess this does buff the scanner size. And I'm really screwing this up. What happens if I grow this one? Huge, okay. That's not exactly what I'm looking for. So if we just like lower it or something. Alright, and we better make its background black to contrast. And I'm going to have to like I'm going to add some kind of stats here. So it's not just for reading the stats of the planet, it actually is also for increasing them. So there needs to be a way to like click to invest and then buff the stat, or click to invest in buffing the stat or something like that. And the planet has a lot of stats, so it's got its base economy value. It's going to have, I guess it's going to have scan, range, and frequency potential values, and then it's going to have possibly shipbuilding capacity value, or it might have like shield defense value or something like that. So I suppose we might as well start tossing a lot of that in, trying to imagine how it should be here. So this is another case where some iconography probably wouldn't hurt. And I could have like an iconography for the different values. In the meantime, probably what I'm going to do is add a label I changed this to control panels, and I'm going to change this to active planet values. And then inside of active planet values, I now need I basically am imagining. Okay, so let's try this. There are actually at least 3 elements here. And these are arranged like this. And they should be filling the space, is what they should be doing here. Okay, so for now we will leave it like this because it'll make it bigger. And I guess this first one is planet economy. Or hold on. So I'm saying it is saying active planet values. Well, active selection values. Active selection economy, and this can expand to be other types of economy, but for right now it's just around economy. This one will be active selection scan radius. This one is active selection scan frequency. Frequency. And the idea was to have each of these elements contain more or less an image which in this instance I'm just going to use a label for. And I'm just going to call that label, so I'll just make this an E. Signify an economy. And then underneath that, there needs to be another visual element. And that visual element needs to align. Oh, and this one, okay, so this is up and down properly. So this one needs to, technically its elements are going to go from left to right. And there will be one more element underneath this. Oh, it's actually not an element, it's pretty sure it's a button. I'm still figuring out exactly how I want this to look and feel, but I think it's a button. and more or less the word is invest. But we might change that to be a star or something, since it's kind of obvious what's being, or it'll just be annoying if we use the same word multiple times. So if we do something like this, it signifies a button to push, but we'll have to do better. So inside of this element, though, we are going to have like 3 things going on. We're going to have a button, a label, and another button. And this bottom button is going to be a plus for increase. This button is going to be a negative for decrease. This label is actually going to output the value. So let's just say it's 0. And we want it to have a couple decimal places, so it's going to be like 0, 0, 0 as a placeholder. And basically, when the selection comes up, the player will be able to take a look down here at selecting to increase or decrease this value. And then commit to it, basically. And that goes for the other values also. It basically does this exact same thing here. And that just gives the player options for investing directly into their planet. There could even be one in front of here that's like capture or something. That might work. These 3 are pretty obvious. I'm not sure yet what other things. There probably could be like a planetary defense option. There might be like the reason I'm not thinking shipyard is because I was under the impression that there was going to be a, well, I guess research capacity could be one. And also the way that it's scrunching up is about right. So let me save real quick and take a look. Okay, so now it's breaking down to the only one. And I'm going to change this to say economy. There could be some of the stuff, the problem is some of the stuff, like, starts to get handled by space stations. So it starts to kind of mix and mingle them a little bit. It's almost a way to, I could almost eliminate using orbital structures at all by just packing all of their stats onto the planets directly. However, I envisioned having a star base, or like I envisioned having a ship foundry on orbiting the planet, or at least in orbit of the planet. And I also envisioned having some kind of trade hubs. However, I could scrap that for the time being and just run all of that through the planet, depending on how many stats it could build up. Because actually, if this size holds, you could possibly squeak in like 8 separate stats here. Depending on how it looks over here. Scrunching differently, that's for sure. Alright, so let's see. So I put this background to black, which means I might as well make this whole background white. And then make the label have black text. Not that it's working very good when I do that, but... And then also make sure the label here has black text. I guess we can bold it as well. And take a look at how this looks. It still scales funky. And then, yeah, I mean, it just grew funky. So let me see if I can... Let me see what happens if I... Let's see, flexing is... It's not flexing. So it's on auto height. Let me just switch to percentage and find a height that I like. So that's alright, but it... like, it's got to make the button smaller. So at 55. And save, and let's see how that looks. And it's janky. It's just janky. There's no getting around it. Even in maximized mode. It's responsive, but it's janky. And if I go back here and I automate the whole thing again, and take a look in play mode, it's bogusly large. So now I'm curious, what happens if I... Okay, so active selection values, and it's a left to right. Alright, I'm basically going to create 2 more of these. Go like this, and then yank these 2. And I guess what I'm really trying to do is stack them also. I'm trying to get a square going, 2 by 2. So I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to get another visual element for the ability to switch this to up and down. And then make this one left to right. And then throw in these two in here. And make this left to right. And throw the other one in here. And it's freaking out. Alright, so these are growing to their max. And then it is stacking the buttons. So I'm going to duplicate this here, and so I guess we can say active selection, and we'll go with research capacity. And they're all spelled incorrectly, but we can take a look at how they scrunch stacked like that. Alright, so that's definitely funky. I would need to try and minimize the total size of the containing rectangle, basically. Because control panels is growing, active selection is growing, this visual element isn't, this visual element isn't. Okay, so I'm going to try and take this outer value and I'm going to maximize this real quick. For some reason it's janked, so let me fix it. Okay, and then the idea I've got is to manually change the height of this and it's not working either. And pixels is not a good idea. Something like this, but it's screwing it up on the other side. And it's kind of weird the percentage doesn't work here. Unless it's not like, but it's like 0.1%. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's acting like that. Not sure. So it has the space. I almost want to do all manual elements when this kind of thing happens. I'm not sure why this percentage works like this. And like, what if I do like 0.01 or something? Yeah, I don't know why that. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'm really sorry about this. This is just not coming together very quickly. The UI building. It might be something I need to read up on, is the Flexbox yoga system. Yeah, this is just messing up the other elements. This is in the right direction, but it's... the buttons are too big. And if I come in here and I start messing with the buttons, why does it make 0? See, I don't understand. I really don't understand. Like, literally tonight I'm gonna have to read up on the yoga system for this, because if this is done correctly, it's supposed to work. Like, everything is supposed to get in the right spot. But I've always been notoriously annoyed at trying to do this kind of thing. So it knows what 0 is. Oh, it's in pixels, though. Okay, so if I go with a raw pixel value, I can change the size of stuff. That pixels does not scale between UI resolutions, unfortunately. Okay, so what I'd have to do is come in here and like grab each of these buttons and make them smaller, obnoxiously. Even if I lower this font, is that okay? So that helps if I do that. So like what, 4? It's like 4. Dango. Just not getting far in this video. More than anything, it's this UI thing here. I got the colors done at least for... I at least got the colors done for... Oh dang it, that didn't work like I wanted it to. I mean, I don't know, at least I got the colors done, but... Okay, so this one I can't get to change very well. Alright, so unfortunately I did manage to... Well, I got the colors done for the scan waves, but I'm not like super sold on it yet as a final system. Functionally it works, but it's... The main problem is that I'm not a big fan of its... I'm not a huge fan of I'm just not completely sold on it yet. So I think it might need a little bit more work before I'm satisfied all the way. Okay, so this is working. Let's go with 4 in all these spots. And I know I'm running out of time on this video, but I don't know if this is how I'm supposed to do this, by going from the bottom up or from the top down. I'm not sure. I have to review. Okay, so that helps with the size of the buttons. Let me see how this looks. And I am once again hitting about a minute or two over on the video, trying to wrap up here at the end. Trying to leave you with something a little better than this. But okay, so I'm just gonna take a quick look here. Okay, so now the buttons aren't even there. Alright, so I'm probably gonna need to study how Flexbox is supposed to work, because I'm screwing this up big time. So thanks for I screwed up my UI. Thanks for checking out the video. I have got to do some studying on Flexbox to make sure I can properly align the UI elements. Otherwise, it's going to keep breaking down every time I have to add new UI stuff. So it's something I'm just going to have to figure out. Alrighty, thank you for watching the video up to this point. See you in the next one.